Good morning everyone on what is a rather gloomy day, but cheer up because there is a fun sports car to drive. Now the last time I reviewed a Porsche 911, and I'll never grow tired of saying that, it was at the racetrack, and some of you commented to say that that's not representative of how real 911 owners would use their cars every day. Fair enough. So when Porsche called up to say that they had a new version of the 911 in their fleet right here in Mumbai, I couldn't pass up the chance to answer those questions of yours. So that's exactly what I'm gonna do today.
Before we get into it, if you like this sort of thing, why not subscribe to Autocar India? Watch the video until the end, and if you like it, give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. And of course, tell us down below which is your favorite Porsche 911.
Now, as I mentioned, this is not the 911 I drove earlier at the track. Oh, no. This is the Carrera 4 GTS. Now, traditionally, the GTS has been the midpoint of the 911 range, that sweet spot between the softness and ease of use of the regular Carreras and the performance and hardcore feel of the turbos and the GT3 cars. That should make it the perfect formula for the perfect sports car, in my opinion at least. But I'm going to put that to the test right here today in Mumbai. And this is going to be unfiltered, bad weather, bad roads, loads of noise, loads of traffic. Just how you'd drive a car in this city every day.
But before we set off in earnest, just what sets this Carrera GTS apart from a standard Carrera? Well, for one, it costs about 78 lakh rupees more. But then it also has a larger, more powerful engine with a high-tech hybrid system that makes 145 horsepower more. But more about that later. For now, I have a more pressing question.
Now, if the difference in the performance between the Carrera and the Carrera GTS doesn't mean anything to you, are you mad? But just in case you are, let me tell you how else you can differentiate these two and what more you get for your Carrera GTS. Well, here's the thing, as is often the case with Porsches, a lot of it comes down to the options list and the way these two cars are spec'd. As spec'd, including all options, this car is priced at 2.66 crore rupees, and this one is priced at 2.98 crore rupees. But get this car has 67 lakh rupees worth of options included in that price, and this one has only 23 lakh rupees worth of options included in that price. Now that means that there's a lot more that's standard on the GTS than you get in the standard Carrera, because that you have to spec up to get to this level. So yeah, it's a whole lot more than just the performance from that hybrid powertrain.
Visually, admittedly, it is hard to tell it apart from a standard Carrera. You get vertical front air intakes rather than horizontal, you get standard 20 and 21-inch center lock wheels, and you get a different design for the rear bumper and exhaust, but that's about it. Both these cars are fitted with the optional aero package and rear wing, which I think looks a bit like overkill. But what do you think? Tell us in the comments. And that's not the only place you'll find differences.
Yes, the interior, and the first thing you'll notice as a driver is this steering wheel is wrapped in Alcantara, or rather race text, and it really makes you feel like you're at the wheel of a race car. But this time it's powered too, and there's heating as well. The other feature I really like that's not standard on the Carrera and standard on the GTS is the 12-speaker 570-watt Bose sound system. The bigger thing that most will notice is that this car gets the full leather interior as standard. Again, something you have to pay for in the Carrera. Another option that has been made standard on the GTS is the Sports Chrono package, and that includes that lovely clock on the dashboard over there. That aside, it's business as usual in the cabin of a 911, and it's a wonderful place to be. Lovely seating position, not too high, not too low, and you can adjust it quite a bit. Relatively upright windscreen compared to most sports cars or supercars, but it gives you a good view forward, relatively good view out the back, and it's a pretty airy place for something of this size and shape. Quality, of course, is excellent as per Porsche standards, and they have given you a good deal of physical controls to keep things at easy access. My favorite and most accessed feature in this car is the nose lift function, which is a nice hard button over there. And if you want to get to the drive modes, they are just a twist of this dial away. Nice meaty metallic paddles that you enjoy using on the move. But if I have to put my road tester hat on and point out some things that I'm not such a big fan of, this stubby gear lever just takes away from the driving experience. I miss the twist to start function. It's now been replaced by just a starter button, and yeah, that's just a bit ordinary. And yeah, there's not a whole lot of storage. I mean, there's some slim places to drop your phone in the door pads, and the wireless charger is down here, and that's a bit annoying. But forget all that, because really this is a wonderful driving machine, and sitting here puts you in that mood right away. I also should point out that the Germans are not immune from technical glitches, and this touchscreen, though it works really well, I'm a big fan of it, has glitched more than a couple of times in the time we've had the car.
Right, that's about as long as I'm willing to let the GTS sit still, so come with me to our favorite back roads as we ponder the question.
Now, this is where the car has to live up to the GT part of its name, GTS. As such, it produces 541 horsepower. That's a whopping 145 horsepower more than what you get in the Carrera. Not bad for the middle child, isn't it? But it doesn't really make sense to compare it to the Carrera because this is an entirely new and different powertrain. This 3.6 litre engine uses a single turbocharger and a hybrid system. But this is a hybrid system like no other. Not no other Porsche, no other car. It is insanely complicated, and it serves only one purpose: to maximize performance.
The T-Hybrid, like most 911 innovations, will probably be met with skepticism by purists, only to be accepted as normal later on. An electric motor between the compressor and turbine spins it up instantaneously, and there's no wastegate. A second electric motor is housed in the 8-speed PDK gearbox, and this alone produces 54 horsepower and 150 Newton meters. The battery is a small 1.9 kilowatt-hour unit, and crucially a light one, and the whole hybrid system adds just 50 kgs.
It's basically replaced one of its turbochargers with an electrical system, so it's just power, power, power with no let-up whatsoever.
And as I'm sure you know by now, this was only the teaser. A more powerful twin E-turbo version of this engine has just been introduced in the new 711 horsepower 911 Turbo S.
But hey, 541 horsepower is a great initial showing, isn't it? This thing is just ceaseless, and I really mean that, ceaseless in its power delivery. On the public road, I could never come even close to approaching its limits. And it makes a nice noise too. It also feels a little bit more effortless than the 3 litre, although with so much electronic intervention, it's hard to tell if that's truly the case. The other part of its name, and indeed its powertrain, that is very prudent, especially on a rainy day like today, is 4. 4, of course, stands for 4-wheel drive. And in the rain, when grip is limited and there's so much power and torque on tap, you're really grateful for the extra driven set of wheels that keeps the car and you in line. I just love this Alcantara steering wheel. It feels so nice to grip. It's a compact wheel, and it really pushes you to push the car harder and harder around corners. Speaking of corners, it's a 911. I know at this point I have very little left to say, given all the praise I've heaped on it over the years. But yeah, that magic is still there, and it feels just as good. Pin sharp steering, no weight over the front, but enough pull from the front axle, because this is 4-wheel drive, to prevent you from going into overstay all the time. What really boggles my mind is just how seamless the torque fill is. I know we've been going on with every new turbocharged car about how there's no turbo lag, and then hybrids came along and filled in the gaps with electricity. Even compared to all those advancements, this is on a whole different level. There is no moment during your throttle pedal travel where there is not power being made and delivered to the road. It's witchcraft.
A Porsche 911 that's amazing to drive. Who could have seen that coming? Jokes aside though, tempting as it is to just keep hammering up and down this set of corners, I still have more pressing questions to answer. Like?
Now, I know if you have one of these in your garage, chances are you probably have an SUV or 2 or 3 also parked there. But what if you needed to drop somebody to the airport and all your SUVs were in the garage, all you had left was the 911? But guess what? It's not as bad as you think. Sure, you can't fit a full-size suitcase. What about one of these? Mid-size, let's call it. Check it out. It actually goes in quite easily with a little bit of room to spare in case you have some soft stuff to squeeze in. Easy airport trip in your 540 horsepower sports car.
But perhaps your cargo is a little more precious.
You manage? You want me to help you?
No. I can. Lovely.
Careful, huh? It's a little low. Okay. Ah, matching the interior, huh? I can see. Nice, huh?
This is my mum. She's nearly 70 years old, and though I've taken her for a spin in many fast cars before, this is her first time in a proper out-and-out sports car.
Mom, I'm not sure if this matters to you, but this is the Porsche 911 992.2 Carrera 4 GTS T hybrid.
Wow, that's a lot to process, but it feels amazing.
Imagine me having to say that every time on camera.
I know. I'm just very excited to be in this car.
We'll see in a few moments. Well, I'm glad. So, shall we go?
Yeah.
And immediately she was treated to the realities of driving a sports car in Mumbai.
The most frequently used button in this car for me is this, because what it does is it lifts the nose to get over stuff like this. Now, it's a guessing game, but this looks like a pretty bad one.
Yeah, it's quite high.
I don't know if we're gonna do it. Please.
Yes, made it.
She then proceeded to do my job of reviewing the car.
I see what you mean. Is that because it's so low slung, right?
I mean, it's partly that. So there's not enough room for the suspension to move because it's so low to the ground. But the other thing is that this is supposed.
It's the thrill of the car.
Yeah, it's supposed to be this sporty one.
Yeah.
See, this is great. We should start a podcast now.
We should.
You and I just driving around in cars talking about stuff.
But enough idle chatter, I have a job to do.
That is a loud setting.
Oh my God, warn me before you start doing that.
Oh, where's the fun in that?
Our mother-son team review continued after I paid the toll. But then we noticed some unexpected traffic building up. Turns out some protests downtown have shut down the bridge and we wouldn't move for another 30 minutes. Well, at least everybody else gets to check the 911 out. After a long trudge, we took a turn and headed back, and thankfully the road was now empty.
Looking forward to a really nice drive now, Gavin.
After a few chances to briefly open the taps again, we got back to our review, and my mother was most concerned about ground clearance.
Even going out of town, but the only thing that out of town is the never show the roads. The quality
Right,
of the
yeah,
roads.
you have to, yeah.
And those kind of speed breakers would not have considerations at all for these kind of cars.
No. Those are for trucks.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I later went in search of those truck breakers, and yes, even though it is 10 mm lower than a standard Carrera, the GTS can clear most speed breakers. But for some of the unregulated and oversized speed breakers like you'll find on the highway in Maharashtra, you have to crawl over sideways, and that's not very convenient. Oh, and yes, the nose lift kit is a compulsory option, which will cost you 4.8 lakh rupees. But back to my mum, who remembered we needed to buy vegetables for dinner and insisted we do it right away, which was fun. Yes, it is. Just a couple of things to keep in mind. One, good luck finding parking for a 911 in a busy vegetable market, and prepare for a crowd that will inevitably gather once you do. And make sure your vegetable seller doesn't inflate the prices based on the car you just stepped out of. As with any car, the best place to keep your vegetables is on the seat, in this case at the back. Which brings me to my next question.
Now, every time I show you how much space there is in the backseat of the car, you guys complain that I'm too small and I should get a larger person to demonstrate that. We don't always have the luxury of doing that. But since we're here in Mumbai, I can just go to the office and get somebody to demonstrate the backseat. How about that? So I've come to the office, and let's see, who's the largest person I can find in our office? 1 second.
Hello.
Yo, what are you doing?
Oh,
Busy? Of course you're not.
not off. Why?
Wanna go for a drive? Quick drive. Nice car.
Yeah. No. Let's go.
But listen, you as always you'll sit in the back, I presume.
Yeah. I'm not driving and all. Yeah. I want to relax.
Cool. So you sit at the back, I'll drive. It's cool. I don't mind driving. Bhatiyas, welcome.
Thank you for bringing the most practical. Oh God, Porsche.
You don't have to drive. You can just sit in the back.
Oh,
Hey, make sure to get the doors getting wet.
Mother.
Oh, can you?
No.
No.
I can't. Yeah, even my dog won't fit here.
Can you? Do I have to move the seat in front? There's no boss mode. I can't reach the button. Oh, there we go.
Much better. Except I still have a head and neck. Get me out of here. What is this here?
I think Sport Plus.
This is like a panoramic sunroof.
I've been told it's a little softer in the rear than it is at the front. Is that true?
Yeah, quite nice. Oh.
Ever the professional reviewer, Nikhil's verdict was that you would never use the rear seats in a 911, but there are no cost options, so it's good to have them just in case. Plus, the rear engine acts as an unexpected seat heater.
Your destination, sir.
Not the best Uber experience I've had.
Oh, I see the problem. So if the seat is pushed in the front, it doesn't go all the way forward. See, this is the little things that make a difference to 911 ownership. Okay, now try. Oh yeah.
Oh, this is nice, yeah.
See, you should just sit like this only.
Oh. Oh.
Now, what other situation might you find yourself in driving a sports car through Mumbai? To find out, I took this German car to an American fast food institution for some good old-fashioned Indian hospitality. The 911 cleared the speed breaker and went around the narrow drive-through path quite easily, which is just as well as I was very hungry.
If I get through this and I still haven't got breakfast, I'm going to be very, very upset. Okay, easy does it.
But when I pulled up to the window, it was a bit vertically challenged. They almost didn't notice me.
Oh, can he see me? Oh no. Hello. ऑर्डर देना था सर
ऑर्डर देना है
हाँ
Thank you.
Right. Wasn't as much of a reach up as I thought. Yep, right. Oh, that's sweet. Nose lift is up. That's a pretty steep looking speed breaker. Let's see. I hope they send tissues. I don't want to get any grease on my race decks, you know. Yes. So see, it's perfectly reasonable if you are doing a road trip out of town, or if you are just really late in the morning and on your way to the office and need a quick bite. We can get breakfast from a drive-thru. I mean, don't, it's not healthy, but in a Porsche 911, we totally can. One of my favorite things about a 911 is that honestly it doesn't take a lot to get used to its dimensions, its size and shape, and the view forward. It's actually pretty friendly. Yeah, you can sit very, very, very low if you want to, but you also don't have to if you don't. The pillars are relatively thin and relatively upright, so you get a great view forward and out the side. And even though there's that annoying spoiler at the back, this is not a GT3 guys, it's just a Carrera 4 GTS. I can see quite a bit of what's behind me. Here in what is the start of rush hour traffic in Mumbai, it's not daunting. It's like piloting any old car. But I'm not about to say that this is some sort of luxury sedan in a sports coupe, guys. Absolutely not, no. You know you're in something way more focused, and mostly because of the way it rides. Remember, this one has big 20 and 21 inch wheels front and rear, and they're really wide. I think about 315 section at the back. And on Mumbai's lovely, less than desirable roads, especially during the monsoon. This, by the way, is the Western Express Highway. It's shaking my teeth out of my mouth. And this is the normal suspension setting. It's not in sport. And if you're thinking, yeah, well, it's a sports car, what do you expect? You're right, but it is a little bit firmer than the Carrera, and that's something you got to bear in mind. That can be quite exhausting after a while. Also different from the Carrera is that there is a noticeable amount of extra weight in the steering. It does feel a bit heavier, but heavier does not necessarily mean less maneuverable, because this car has rear wheel steering, and that makes it so much more maneuverable and nimble and agile. And that's not something you think you need in a sports car. It's not a very large car to begin with. The other thing you got to be wary about in a sports car in a trafficy city like Mumbai is the width. And yeah, this car is not narrow, it's pretty wide. It's compact in general, but you got to watch out for those hips. The front is noticeably narrower than the back. And while you're looking forward and thinking, yeah, I've made it through that gap, you might catch those massive wheel arches out on your exit. But what I also found quite alarming is how many people don't see it because it's so low down. You look in your mirrors, you're expecting to see an SUV at that height, but no one's actually looking down for a sports car, so a lot of people don't see you coming. At low speeds like this, you want that extra push low down so that you get off the line nice and smoothly without lurching forward. And you get that here.
But smoothness is one thing. There's only one reason people buy a hybrid, right?
Now, this hybrid system, it's truly not like any other hybrid system we've seen before, and if you're expecting crazy fuel economy figures from it, I'm sorry, but that's just not going to be the case. That said, however, this morning we've just been driving it around town, nothing too fast, nothing too serious, and it's showing 7.7 kpl. That's not too bad at all, is it? I mean, it's better than what you'd get in a big 7-seat luxury SUV with a petrol 6-cylinder engine, that's for sure.
And there's one good reason you might want to use your fuel sparingly.
Now, if you're concerned about E20 and your sports car, I'm sure in a car like this, you're already filling 100 octane petrol. And yes, 100 octane petrol is free from E20 at the moment. XP95 is still got E20 in it. You can fill that in a pinch, like when we were out of the city and we couldn't find 100 octane. A partial top up of 95 is good, especially with additives like it does have. But yeah, best for a car like this is XP100. And yeah, the rating of this car says 98 recommended and 95 if you can.
Time for some real consumer advice. Is the GTS the perfect distillation of the 911? If I'd only driven it hard and fast, the answer would have been a resounding yes. The performance and handling enhancements alone put it so far ahead of the Carrera, more so than any GTS before it. Having lived with it for a few days, however, I'm not so sure, as its hard edge and heavy steering make it a chore to do chores in. In the Indian context, it boils down to this. If you want a cool looking sports car that's great to drive, which you can realistically use every day, the Carrera is the one for you. It will scratch that itch and still be forgiving enough to live with. If, however, you are into regular late night blasts, seeking out great driving roads, and maybe even a track day or two, move up to the GTS. Whichever you choose though, you're going to have something rather special.
I don't know about you, but if I were to own a sports car, I would like to drive it every day. Not just on weekends, not just at night, but once in a while at least, through the traffic and the grind. It makes you more familiar with your car. It teaches you things about it that you might not have known driving it at about 120 kph. And also, it just puts a smile on people's faces. I mean, I get so excited when I see a 911 out on the road. I'll stop whatever conversation I'm having just to look at it and maybe try and grab a photo. Who knows, it might just brighten up somebody else's day, not just yours.